Okay, welcome everyone to the 90th Keshe Knowledge Seekers Workshop for Thursday, December 3rd, 2015. And once again, we'll be meeting with Mr. Keshe at the Spaceship Institute in Italy. And today's one of the themes of today is regarding the blueprint teaching and the some of the corrections that might need to be done. And I'm sure Mr. Keshe has a number of topics he'll want to speak of. Speaking which, there he is. Let's stop the screen share and show the video, I guess, there. Hello, Mr. Keshe.
Good day to you. As usual, you're welcome wherever and whenever you're watching these teachings. I've been away most of this week. Is my first day back here after since last Thursday. And there's a lot happening around the foundation and the work we do. There is a huge discussion and there's a question and there are confusions about blueprint of the MAGRAV power unit. There is nothing wrong with most of the systems you made unless you have short-circuited your system by over gansing, which what you've done. Anybody knows where my pen is? As I explained last week, if this is your coil, if you have over gansed your system, you have put GANS material too much, and literally what you've done is you have, can I get rid of this bar at the bottom? Or it can be there. Okay, I can see this, no problem. So, no problem. No problem, just wait. So what has happened is that you have put too much GANS, but at this point, the two rings have literally filled up with gases. So instead of having a spring, what you have is a continuous tube. And this is, some of you will find problem with your system. If I can change it. So what you actually have is a tube instead of plasmas connected interconnect. We explained some of you have produced GANS material or nano-coated material through caustic. As far as we see, there is no problem with it. The only problem you have, majority of it is this, or when you connected, you did not polarize your system with a negative and positive or positive negative of your nano-coating. A lot of you, we're going to confirm this to you. We know this one for some times, but we would like you, if you don't want to change to a different method of nano-coating, you can keep your systems running. Don't disconnect your system. Do not disconnect your system. That is wrong. My meter doesn't read. I still the same voltage amperage. By next Thursday, we give you an insight into the system. Why you see still no voltage drop in your meters. Most of you, what you've done is this. You have taken a system. You have taken a system and you plug your system into the wall. You have put a meter somewhere here and you're measuring how much voltage and current or amperage you're using, and you have connected your system to any kind of appliances as is in your manual when you receive your system. And what you don't see is, a lot of you don't see, is that this meter has come down by 5–10% and stopped. It doesn't go any lower. And you think the system doesn't work. Keep it going. We'll tell you why. Do not stop. Let your system still show nothing has changed. Doesn't matter what you supply. Follow the procedure as we said until we tell you what to do next. Do not change anything on the procedure which you're given. Start from the back of the house to the middle of the house to the front. Load it up the same thing, because we gave you everything. As usual with us, we don't give you the last point till you're all ready for it and there can't be any disruption. So carry on with the same process. Today in the Innovation Center have loaded up a method of how to nano coat with the firing if you're not happy with your system here. What this means, with a firing system, you don't use GANs. You, from the beginning, when you set the coil, when you set your wire to make a coil, it's all set to work with plasma. With the present coils, you make a caustic, you have a position where, okay, you got the coil running the right way. Now, when you nano coat all the layers in one go. Everything is done in one pace. Then you add a voltmeter to directionalize it, and then you try to put GANs in it, and then you try to do all sorts of things, and then you connect it into your stacker and you see. There are a few things when you nano coat your, or GANs coat your springs. Doesn't matter which system you use. Your GANs, I've seen a lot of people, it's like a toothpaste. Your GANs should be like 70% drinking water. No more. 70–80% of your GANs material which you're going to coat your system with should be like running, it should be water, drinking water. What they call distilled water. Then you add the GANs of CO2 or other gases you want into the water, and you wash your system. You drain your coils in it. Don't rub. Don't put your coil in a tray and rub. You take all your layers off. You make it as you literally dip it in. You dip your system into the GANs very clearly. That doesn't touch anything, because the minute you touch, you destroy your layers. So then you take it out. One of the best ways to do it is, I have tissues here. What do you do? I get a tissue from here. If this is your coil, you have put it through the GANs. You see, I washed. Even with the washing, you still have this. It's got to be at least 70–80% water, pure water. Very, very just as it is, nothing in it. You shouldn't have any solid bits. It has to be totally liquid. And when you take it out, just very gently touch the bottom immediately, that you drain any liquid that it might connect any wires inside the setting. So you try to drain your coils straight away, leave it for 24 hours, let it dry. This way, this what I call tubing disappears. You don't have this problem. If you make any of these coils, don't touch them. Do not touch your coil. It's important because you crush the layers. When you make your stacker, I've seen even the stackers here being brought up yesterday has been set up totally the wrong way. We spend a fortune to bring in stackers. We flew Armand to Philippines to bring his stackers with him, and the first thing is the stacker is set up totally the wrong way to start with. Nothing should touch the stackers. I just saw in the lab, the stackers are sitting like on top of each other like a pancake. Already the damage is done. So keep your stackers separate. You put your rings on, and the most of the failure comes in little mistakes you make, and then you blame the system because you have not done the right. We spent a fortune bringing these in. I just walked into the lab. I thought this was a waste of thousands of euros straight, because all it's happened is literally the plate has been put like this on top of each other on the ring. It's gone. So be careful in how you do things and how you stack things up. The other point is, if you made a caustic or you did your rings through caustic method, make sure you wash your ring with the water, that you don't carry the caustic too. A lot of people just take it out, even they do it, it's good enough, they go to put the guns on it. So you got to wash your rings. These are a few little things, then you find out it makes a big difference on your system. What I advise you, when you dry your system, connect the ends, see there is no short circuit, everything is perfect, there's no water left. Do the same thing with your capacitors. Check there is no short circuit in the capacitors. The structure has to be correct. You have to do everything A to Z if you want the end product to work. Not doing one thing and then failing somewhere else. The heating method is different. The firing method of the coil is totally different than the caustic. The reason it's different is you follow the instruction which is going to be released now. The Innovation Center has made a very simple video that it shows you how you have to nanocoat using fire flame. This way you get a very perfect nano coating for this job. Remember something very important. In the future, a lot of you will become confused more and more with nano coating. In English, we say horses for courses. You can't put a flat race on a chase, chase race of the horses. You can't put a horse show on a flat course to run. You train them, you have them for what it is, even they're all horses. Learn to understand nano coating with GaNs creates a different layer for different purpose. Nano coating with electric current creates a different purpose. Nano coating with heating has a different purpose. In some cases, you cannot use one nano coating in the other for the other purpose. So, for example, what we see in agriculture, you cannot use electric method. You have to use the GaNs method, especially if you're using your nanomaterials for supporting increased production. If you use the electric system for nano coating, you get totally different growth on your product. You can control the product end, but how you nano coat your materials. In this case is another one of them. If you nano coat with a caustic, you get a different result. If you nano coat with fire, you get a different result. But every process has its own technique. When you nano coat with caustic, you just put it in, heat it up, create the right condition to produce nanomaterials on the layer. It's totally random. It has no order. The only thing you can give order to it is by the current flow of the electrons, which are on the layer just before the nano layer, which has created the boundaries, and the top layer of your nanomaterial, anything in that gap starts aligning. That's what it does. When you use the heating system, the process is different. In your coils, which you do nano coating, you have to follow the procedure as it comes. A strange face. I have to stop. Good morning. Welcome home. Thank you very much.
Anybody tell you they love you today?
I love you today
love you
too.
too, There we go. There we go.
Sit down, please. So, the important thing is the way you put the wires in two ends and you align your plasma with the fire, you dictate the alignment. Because the way you go with the fire, you're already aligning. So the alignment comes the way you fire it. You cannot do a burst fire. Good morning. Now they come the South Koreans and the others. They just walk in. Nationalities from all over, all welcome home. So when you fire, when you use a firing system, you literally realign the whole system as you go. Trying to create, I've seen some people putting their coils on a gas cooker, doesn't work. It's the same as putting it in a caustic. And you cannot control. Heating the wires, your coils, has a procedure. We never shown this before, but it's good to see. The system which has worked, which is commercializing, is working on the heating system, not on a caustic system. It's totally different. So the heating system, we use the caustic specifically for a specific work, like in some of the car units, because it gives a better performance in some cases. But for the energy unit, we use the caustic system, but when you use the heating system, you have a more powerful system, more correct, you have a more homogeneous system. The thing is, I have to warn you, a lot of you go to a shop, you buy yourself a small container of gas, you buy yourself a burner, and you start burning what you see. In Western system, which you have these little containers, there's a little warning. When you get to the last 20%, you find out a lot of bits come out of the container, which literally attaches itself like matter to the nano layer. So when you start, you buy a new, what do you call it, cylinder. It could be a small one, camping one. It could be a longer one. Even the big 25 kilo, he's using it at home, he says, this is a big one. You have to watch. When you come to the last 10%, 20%, you start getting residual of the tank in, you destroy your system. It becomes like a dust, you see it. If you nano coat perfectly with the gas from the beginning, you'll find out you can't scratch it off. It's impossible. It's exactly and better than caustic nano coating. If you touch your ring and you can see coming off, there is a little bit of mistake, you can correct it. So before you start looking at the video, understand the process. Don't go in and put it on a gas fire to start burning. If you overheat it when you put it on a gas fire, you have already destroyed the nano layer. Nano layer doesn't exist. It goes black, but it doesn't serve the purpose it's supposed to do. So what you got to do, when you see the video, understand it. Don't become a monkey see, monkey does. Understand the process. You start a chain of process from one end to another, has to be the chain of process has to be all the way the same. If you see rainbow colors while you're doing it or when you finish, the point of rainbow is your fault. It's a failure point. You go back to the top, just take it out. By heating, you can do. When you use the flames to create these nano layers, why I go to detail with this, because we have talked a lot about caustic coating. A lot of you have no experience with nano coating with heating. It's important. I give you a lot of experience in a very rapid way. Remember what you're doing, because even our people in the factory were making a mistake. I looked at it and said, boys, you just heated it up. So the whole process had to be done. That's why we recalled some of the systems back. We're checking it, because if you see a rainbow, it's a failure point. The structure is not nano-coated. So when you get the heater in your hand, usually what you do, you have a flame like this, and then you have a flame bit which is much lighter, which runs over. It's very empty looking, but you have a blue flame in the middle. Your tube has to be somewhere here. If you burn your system and just what I call, if I can put it here, if you put your tube here, you're not making nano coating, you're just coloring the system. It's at a specific temperature. And this temperature is created, this is your nozzle of your heater, whatever. This region is where you need to be, not on the tip. Temperature is not right, and because you work on the tip, what happened? You're holding the system in your hand, and you find out, oops, falls off. It literally heats so much that the metal just drops. You start from one end, and you go all the way down to follow. It's the same way as clock and anti-clockwise, which you expect from your system to perform in your system. So if you use a coil clockwise in the system, you nano-coat it clockwise. If you are using magnetical system, which is anti-clockwise, you nano-coat it anti-clockwise. It's very important. Then you don't have problem with your coating. You don't use nano-coating anti-clockwise and expect it to work. You create yourself the same problem as the winding. So where you're done, for example, you see it in the video in a very detail. This is, let's say, the gravitational, the center core. This is supposed to be clockwise. So you start clockwise, and then when it's finished to the top, you turn it back to front, because now you could have nano-coated just this off the front, not the back. You turn it, and this time you start opposite, because if you remember, you started clockwise here. When I turn it, this becomes to this point. Now you start your nano-coating from this side, so you follow the same pattern. This is very important, because if you nano-coat this way, turn it and you nano-coat that way, it's all gone. The last bit comes. No, you can do it together. And what you will see when you have two coils together, your magnetical and gravitational, we explained last week on 44 turns and 81. What you will find out is, what we've seen is the gravitational coil becomes purple blue most of the time. And the magnetical coil stays amber reddish color. You see it. When you make a few, you see it. I was in the factory yesterday in the lab, and we could put all the coils next to each other and say which one is nano coated, where the mistake was. We can see a rainbow. This wasn't done. You look at here, you see the rainbow here, but you don't see it here. You see a line of rainbow. It just takes 2 seconds to recoat it. But you got to pay very much attention. It's exactly the same as winding. So the front to you is where you started the coil going in. The single wire went in. When you look at it, that's your front. You go anti-clockwise, sorry, clockwise with gravitational. You turn it to the back of it, follow the same pattern. You do the same thing with your magnetical. Or what we do in the factory is we go clockwise, then we go up, anti-clockwise, and we come back to it when it's cooled the same way 3 times. You got to repeat the process of back to front 3 times. There is a secret in knowing how and if you have achieved a perfect coating. The perfect coating comes when you start from the top. Give yourself a bit of wire to learn. When you put the fire through somewhere here on the wire, you see a golden color. If it goes red, you fail. You have to let it cool, start re-nano coating. The minute you start firing and you read the right temperature, you see gold color on the copper. That's the right, you follow it. The minute you see a rainbow, you go back, you bring it in. You just re-coat it at the side behind it. So when you go on your coils, you see a gold color. As long as you see the gold color, you carry on. Don't go too fast. Allow the gold color follows your flame. And then you carry on. It takes about 1 minute for a set to nano coat. You take your time. Just follow. You see a gold color. If you have a break like this, opening like this is a point of failure. If the heat is too much, your core from here just drops up. So make sure when you start nano coating, make sure you have a tight pack that you get homogeneous, because here the temperature changes, leakage is different. Try to set it up before you start nano coating very closely. You follow the gold color till you come to the end. You walk out of it. You come to the end and you take it off. You wait. You see any imperfections. The second time it will correct itself. And the third coating, most of the problem goes away. Usually you see the rainbow color at this point on the top end, just because we're coming in. Make sure it's very easy. Just take your time and go through it. Don't let it go red. If you go red, you're lost. Just stop the process, take a cup of tea, let it cool down, come back and start again. You realign it.
Mr. Kesh, you want me to play that video of Brennan's about the
Yes.
fire
Before we
code?
show the video, we explain everything, because then it's very difficult to follow the video. I watched the video, and now when they see it, they understand what's happening instead of showing the video and then trying to explain it. The other point you got to remember is always, before you start the process, close the loop. Never start. These loops have to be closed. Always close your loop, because the flow dictates the loop as well. You don't come back and do it later on. Make everything ready as you're going into assembly, working. Leave it for at least 2 hours. Don't nano coat and jump in. Leave it for about 2 hours. Make your GANs in a liquid condition. You can pour it on it, or you can make a small narrow container, shake it that all the GANs is floating, dip it in all the way, take it out, put a tissue, drain it that you don't get any leakage, any blockage with the GANs. Leave it for 24 hours. Don't fast try to dry. Your fast dry is 0, failure. Because you got to understand, something which I've explained before, and a lot of you maybe missed it. That is, when you have your copper wire, and then you nano coated it, it's worse this way. This is your wire. When you nano coated it, understand the process of coating. I think this is this one. So where did we have that thing? Doesn't matter. When you nano coat, it's just, I've got to get it right. That it comes right. Okay. Let's do it this way. Get this off. This is important. That's why it's better to get it right, that we know exactly what we're doing. And I think this is a part which has been missed. When you nano coat, you make your nano layers. When you make nano layers like this, go back to the original teaching. When you add the GANs, you think you have to paste it on. It's exactly what you don't need to do. When you paste it on, you force it into a matter state. When the way you dilute it and you hang it, you leave it to the natural process of the gravitational magnetic field of this to work in a very easy way. So what happens when, let's say, you use a copper oxide GaNs? See what happens. Your GaNs material connects to your nanomaterial by magnetic fields, not by force of mass of matter you put in. This is the difference. This is where all of your system fails. That's why we tell you to liquidize it. If you see even the ones I made a few weeks ago, as much as you could see liquidized, not drain, you still have more gas on the other side, but the material decides to hold on to. When you dry them, hang it. So if you understood this, the GaNs material connects to your nanomaterial by magnetic gravitational field forces, not by pasting a toothpaste. Then, because it's done naturally, it doesn't come off. It takes radiation of the fields directly on its own. Understand the separation between the plasma technology and the matter technology. So, what in fact you've done, you make a link between your GaNs matter and all the nanomaterials layers. With matter, you paste it, is there. But when a system, a nano-coated system, accepts a GaNs system, it does not connect to one layer of the GaNs, it literally connects with all the layers. So the locking is absolutely perfect. That way, you don't force, you don't destroy. So you find out that's why you use water, because you allow the nano layers take what they like from the solution. I'll be clear. This is the difference. This is how you get your system working. And because It's this attachment. Now the field of the plasma literally travels because it doesn't have a physical connection, it has a magnetic gravitational connection. Most of you should have seen this connection, but restricted to nano layers. When you've seen, you take pictures of the nano coated, especially I've seen a lot of pictures of the pens being photographed, and you see the field flow around it. That field flow comes from the field of the red one. That's what you see. And if you do an experiment, I'll put the pictures on the Keshe Foundation, what do you call it, website in the discussion groups. For example, do a test and take a picture. Make 3 or 4 rings, make a gap, make it 3 or 4 rings or 10 rings, and then photograph your pens again. And you see the distribution of the fields is different. So by distribution, you see when you work with nanomaterials, you feel the red on its own because that's the field of the nanolayer. When you GANS it, you extend it to a free plasma. And the connection is not enforced, but by pleasure because it helps and it holds. Then you find out when you use the technology for energy, the energy runs in a very simple way, along both layers. Here, above, and inside your nanolayers. What you'll find later in the work, most of your DC power, comes from here, and AC will come from this layer and this layer. Because now it's a free choice. That's why in your systems, when you make at the end, you put the copper wire connected on top of the nano. By the way you connect it, you crush the nano layer at the point of contact. So you bring it closer to the matter state of the copper. As Armand says, at the point when you bring your copper wire out into the first plate of nano material, where you've done the connection, to get the perfect connection, just touch the copper wire with a little bit of caustic, cold caustic. Now it becomes a perfect homogeneous between the matter and nano layer. So the whole process is very simple. Then when you made your coils, when you made your capacitors, carry on with the same process. Connect it if you want to a meter, set your system up, and as we said, as we've seen up to now, all of you will report 5 to 10%, and most of you will write the system does not work because you don't see the reduction more than 5 to 10%. And I tell you, that's exactly where we want you to be. What we want you to do, carry on with the same process till you nano coat the whole wiring in the house. Follow the procedure on the manual. You receive your unit, you say, I only see 5%, 4%, 10% reduction, and it's not working. And we tell you, thank you very much. Perfectly in order. We have 18 systems in circulation. We don't know where they're gone, so we wait till people tell us. Otherwise, the rest of the units are in working condition. We set up 18 units. We know possibly one or two where they could be, but now we serialize everything, we can trace everything back down. It was just a process of understanding where things go. So you see, you build your system at home, you're totally disappointed, the system doesn't work, and I tell you, change it if you want to the firing coating, because a lot of you plastered your ring with the paste, you can blow it out. And then we would like you to stay there. There he walks in. Good morning, Armin. Our Filipino-speaking gentleman. How are you? Safe journey. Thank you very much. Thanks for playing. So you see the whole process is exactly where you should be. If you fire it, if you pasted it, if you did not realign it with the wires to current flow, you'll find a lot of problem. But if you've done it right, or if you haven't fired it, make sure there is no connection between your lines, between your rings. You short circuit plasmas. Then I'll show you where the problem sits. And a lot of you put 3 kilowatts, you go up to your 2 kilowatts. If you cascaded it, you see to 5.4 kilowatts before your copper starts melting. It means you cannot go over 2 kilowatts, because then what happens? The failure comes not out of your system. The failure comes out of the nanomaterial holding itself, but the matter inside melting. Then this physical system failure comes. If you leave your wires, for example, on the table and heat it up, which is nano-coated, you can heat up as much as you like. It'll never melt, it never opens up. You should not do, unless you have a failure in the coating where the metal comes out. So what happens if your system overheated? Anybody tells us you sold the system, which is wrong, we open it up, we look, we know you overloaded it. It's your problem, because we can photograph it and show you how you overloaded it. Because separation of coils, separation of the connection is due to overheat, overloading. System cannot be overloaded. If anybody's system doesn't work, when you connect something new, you have overloaded it, you broke the agreement which is sold to you. Even if you make your own system, you see a failure and you see breakdown, is when you overload it, overheat it. These nano-coated materials can be held in hand. They should not get warm. You should not be able to heat that much, feel that much heat. In some nano layers, the more heat the more internally you heat up the copper, the cooler the outside nano layer gets. We know this for a fact. So understand, and the reason, before I go for why it feels cooler, because inside temperature tries to absorb energy in magnetic field from outside. It's not a heat transfer. It's magnetic field transfer like a human body. It's got 37, 40 degree temperature control, and that's why it stays cool. Inside is warm. You can hold it. So you see the video. Remember the little tips, how it's done. And if your system melts, means you have overloaded it. We have tried to put a filter in. Our certification by EU, CE certificate you have underneath, confirms the correctness. The technology works as it is, unless it's overloaded, or in some cases, what you do when you make your coils, just to be safe, you keep it down. So now here you hold, create a matter condition. It becomes like a heating it, and then you have a problem. Try to leave your coils free. If you try to attach a coil to keep, if you keep it on this side here, underneath, hold it there. That it allows heat transfer. Don't grip your system in one point both sides, or don't hang it in one place. Attach a coil. If you hold one on one top, on the other position, hold it under. That the heat transfer is complete. You don't melt your system. This is, you will see it when we go in development of the batteries. So would you like to show the video, share a screen with us, Rick? The Innovation Center, Keshe Foundation in Philippines is just started. It's about 6 of them, and they add more people to them. It's at their infancy till we equip it. It's in a very small room till they set up their structure. But as I said to Armand, it's not the table and chairs. It's the spirit and understanding of the knowledge by this team.
Mr. Keshe, there's 4 videos, and one is of the proper coiling, and then there's the MagRev coil fire coating process, and there's another one on
GANs?
Yes, the GANs.
Show them in sequence. Show them from the beginning in sequence.
Okay.
Okay, it'll be about, I think about 15 minutes. We'll watch it.
Yes, they're quite short and very
very compact.
particular. Compact, yes. Very nicely done.
I've seen it. It's been sent. Okay.
Let me get this screen sharing going here.
From now on, till he gets the screen share sorted out, Rick, I explained to you that those of you who work are paid by the foundation as researchers according to your ethos, because we've seen some of you fast shooters, what I call. You're paid by the foundation to develop technologies that we assess correct. You just pick it up and put it on your Facebook. It doesn't work that way. You're paid by the foundation. What we put out has to be correct the way it should be. Please do not post what we pay you to develop for humanity just to give yourself a credit. Comes out the way it is credited to you. This is very important because we've seen some of the people who are on the payroll of the foundation release their finding, and then they say, oh, everybody has copied me. Nobody acknowledged me. It's your fault. You work for the foundation, put it through the channel, we put it out, everybody knows. So there's a few of you out there who are doing it. This is not a warning, but this is what you're doing to yourself. At the end of the day, we share the knowledge, but that way is done correctly in the right way. And then we give you a chance to teach it the way we did with Alex and others. Carry on.
Just a second, I have to do it a little bit differently because of I can't get it to screen share in my second window right now in Zoom. So, okay, just a second here.
You have very short screen share.
You should be able to see it on your screen there now.
Yeah, if you allow the film to run.
And now I have to change my live stream here a little bit so I can.
Don't forget, let the voice run on the live stream. Check. Last time you forgot to put a live stream voice on and it was blank.
That's a good point. I haven't been telling people here on the live stream. Okay, but we are ready to go now on the video. Okay. So. Okay, here we go.
Can you go back to the beginning and repeat it again? The first turn. Where he starts the first turn, freeze it there, please. See, he puts it between the finger and the screwdriver. You can make it automatic. Start it again, please. You see, he goes in front, not over. Go back again, please, and just repeat this. You see the handle kept. Just freeze picture by picture, please. You see that it just comes in the front and it turns backward. This is the way it's done. You put and you turn it. The coil always look down. They always give. It doesn't take. Okay, carry on, please. When you look from this way, is anti-clock. When you look from the end mate, it's clockwise. Okay, can you show us the second one, please? This is the way you fire the coil after you made it.
From scratch. Focus. Focus. So the direction should be the flow of gravitational here, clockwise, then counterclockwise on the outside. This is the front side. So we start on the junctions. To first secure the junctions and put them. So they are already connected, making sure they are already connected, considering plasma connection. Then proceed with the first clockwise direction of the gravitation. Wait for the copper to shine. Not a dark shine, but a very light color shining. Then move the flame to the next area. Then the nanomaterials will simply follow. It's very easy during the first session of nano coating compared to the second and the third, where you have already have a coating layer that it looks like a ceramic when you first apply the flame. This one is fresh copper, so it's easier to reach a shiny copper surface. That's the correct temperature. If you don't wait for that, this is what happened. The color is not like the darker one. If you reach that temperature, you get a very nice color. Okay, first you'll have, it will manifest as if it is magnetical, since there's no magnetical on the other side, on the outside. It will manifest a brown-like color, like this one. But look carefully when we start nano coating on the magnetical. Okay, let's continue. Nano coating the magnetical loop. just the flame to up to 2 inches of blue flame. We have at least 2 inches of blue flame. That's a very good flame for this one. So we'll start here. The motion now will be counterclockwise. We do this to initiate flow. This time our flow is heat, not yet electrical or the plasma flow. Simulating this way will prepare the material for its intended function. Okay, the copper is shining now. Very light color. Wait for that color, that shining color, then move to the next area. This will ensure very good result. Okay. You can move backwards. Oh, I overdo it. Make sure that you won't go red hot. What will happen when you go red hot on the copper? The nano coating will flake out when it is cooled down. It is already at cooler temperature. So if we don't go red hot temperature, the copper material, it won't flake out. It will have a very hard coating.
You got to remember, you are not nano coating two rings, one inside and one outside. You only see the outside ring, but inside has to be nano coated too. So it's important that your flame is on the blue side, that the inside foil is the same way. Where you see a blue and a red on your coil, blue is gravitational, red is magnetical. So it means you have a mixture, you have a blockage. You have to make sure it's continuously one color.
I keep on going backwards to make sure we don't have that multiple colors coating. That multiple colors coating indicate a lower temperature. Should we pass again on this side, just do the same direction. I would like to uniform the coating. And this is our first pass coating. We have to do it again on the other side. Just turn it around, but this time the direction is the opposite. We're simply following the flow of heat we initiated before. So on the center we have counterclockwise this time, which we do it. If we look at the other side, it's clockwise. Wait for that shiny surface, then move. As you can see, if you move fast, you won't see a shiny surface, but like this one, you will only see like a ceramic coating. Waiting for the shiny part is the correct temperature. That temperature will depend on the batch of copper that you have. Okay. Moving on the magnetical. As you can see, it doesn't shine easily, so you have to heat it up. At the right temperature, you'll notice that the material or the nanomaterial, as you move the flame, will have the same speed as your movement of the flame, as you move the flame, meaning you reach the right temperature. If you're in a hurry, you want to go like this, the nanomaterial is left behind. So we'll do it slowly, allowing that very shiny surface to appear, and you have a good temperature and a very good coating. Okay, we're done.
Okay, well, that's that one. We'll go to the next one. If there's nothing else on that you'd like to say, Mr. Keshe.
Nothing, that's why I explained before everything. But now you see it, how it comes up.
Set up.
This is how you apply GANs.
Okay, here we go.
This is a dried CO2 GAN. And that's the CO2. It's a water. A lot of tests has been done using Kodak tubes, old Kodak film containers. I use them a lot. They're one of the best things as a small reactor. don't forget that the gas has to go in the inside tube as well. It's not just outside. The inner tube has to absorb as much as possible. This is how they make the capacitor. Video of how to fire the gas, the capacitor. You got to follow the same procedure. Notice it's using the same guns for the coil.
Making plasma capacitors.
Okay, that was the last one of the videos.
Okay, thanks very much. You've seen once again. So you see how simple is that? The system is perfect. It does what it's supposed to do. And as usual, there is a twist in this. Alman says, it doesn't go below that, right? All of you seen it. If you put your meter on and you achieve your -4, there is a problem. I explained to you last time, if you got your stacker and if your capacitors, which is put across the, sorry about this one, this should be there, is not done properly, you will short circuit. When you connect your load, all it happens is of the field going through to come out, the field goes this way, and you get no result. Your system failure. So the capacitor across the plates is important. All it does, it gives you more power. You can do without it. We can test it, you can do without it. But even in that proposition, you have to watch that your connection with your plates is okay. When you make a twist on your plates, wires, we all make possibly scratches on it. Just at the point where you twisted one stacker to another, and if you do it with hand, which you don't do, use pair of pliers, you get a scratch on it, just touch it with a caustic to rebuild it at that point. If your capacitors are wet, they'll make a big bang and you think it's blown up. All it is, you gotta wait. You blow the fuse up. We received units last week. You connected every time you plugged it in, you blew the fuse. Because the capacitors, and it so happens you're so involved you don't see it. Marco walked out, walked into the office. The capacitors can have water in them, which is quite, you don't think about it, but that's what happens in it. So the process is very simple. If you made the old or the caustic method, make sure this doesn't exist. If you made the nanomaterial with fire, make sure you don't have a rainbow. Your system should be more or less perfect to use. Armin is not happy, but he knows one very soon by now. The systems you can, if you have built a 3-tray system, try to build yourself a 4th tray because it'll become handy. We will release 4th tray single core as a single pack after Christmas, but before Christmas we carry on with the 3-stacker. You need the single core tray because this is where all your power sits. This is the 4th tray is a key to be able to produce or at least be able to use the power unit in a correct way. Don't forget the power unit as 2 kilowatt means you cannot load it more than 2 kilowatt. If you use the 4th tray, the 2nd tray, you can push your system to 5 kilowatt system. This is very important. You can use a 2 double stacker for cascading, or you can use a 3 and a single. We brought especially 3 and a 1 from Philippines, this week for Arman, for this purpose to show the 5 kilowatt load. We, at the moment, what we receive information, we're going to clarify why and how. 3-phase system shows a different behavior. We'll explain that now when the tests are completed. But you need a single. If you have a 2 tray, you can push yourself to 5+ kilowatt load without melting your system. This 5 kilowatt system is not that it gives you 5 kilowatt per hour maximum. It is the maximum the wires can carry. It's a big difference. A lot of people, when we say 2 kilowatt, they say it's a 2 kilowatt system. The 2 kilowatt in plasmatic condition, because we have a combination of matter, plasma, and GANs, it means before the matter fails, around about 2 kilowatt. It's not that the system produces 2 kilowatt. When you cascade it, you raise the melting point to a higher point. It means the plasma can carry on with its work. It's not a 2 kilowatt system will give you 2 kilowatt hour. And this is something which I noticed. I went over this a couple of weeks ago, even in the teaching at the beginning, when we introduced the maggraph systems. They say the strongest link in a chain is the weakest loop. Because maggraph is so strong in power, nano layers are so strong, matter state is so weak compared to them, it's the matter state which fails the system. So we go by the weakest point. It's where the matter fails. And this is very important. When we say 2 kilowatt hour the system, it means that's the limit before the matter fails. But you'll see your nano layers stay intact. This is one of the reasons in the coming time we withdrew the matter out. This is what in the teachings we have explained that in the coming time we introduce coils which are hollow inside. We take the matter out to reduce the point of failure. That's the only reason. This then becomes a superconductor, superplasma transfer across. This is what I suggested to the Chinese regarding big boy or fat boy to use a hollow tube, because this condition allows you, has advantages that the plasma, when it travels through it, is a superconductor, because the field of nanomaterial outside they create exactly what the European community and tokamak has been spending billions to achieve. A magnetic field containment of the plasma. It's the first time ever done. Few cents, all of you, as I said before, they are more advanced than tokamak and CERN. Because instead of creating millions and millions of coils around the tube, if you look at your coils, you have actually achieved more than they have achieved with billions in CERN. Your megawatts and megawatts of energy to contain the plasma with nanocoating this way. Don't forget what I just showed you here. These fields here create a nanocoating magnetic field with a matter state too. So when you hollow the tube, the wire, you have a perfect nano system without material. It's a free airflow in a cushion of magnetic field. You can produce very much, if you look at it the other way around, the Japanese system of railway underground, where you fly inside. Now you can make nanotubes that you sit inside and you can literally become part of the float. You don't need to sit on the rings. You can make tubes. These free-flow magnetic tubes, I'll show you in time to come how they work. It has a lot of usage, especially as I suggested a few weeks ago to, as I said to the Chinese guys who are running the Fat Boy. Is needed. It's the only way you get plasma flow without matter condition. Because even though you have a matter here, the plasma, the magnetic field of the nanomaterial creates that field. The way it locks itself to the GaNs, it creates itself a lock to the matter, but when you take the matter out, you have a free run plasma. And because it's free of any matter, it's one of the best superconductors man will ever come to know, that it can produce within the matter compound. This is important because if you remember, last week we showed the unit which we, instead of putting the wire coils as a matter state, we explained from here, we add wire nano-coated. So if you use a wire nano-coated, hollow, now you have a free plasma condition, which you tap into your center. It's you who decides how to create the condition to produce material. In a way where we saw, for example, with Thomas in Dubai, creating gold, now you dictate the strength of the field. You have to interface them in different fields, then you can produce anything you like without any matter, because you put fields in respect to fields, and if you choose the right nano coating, the right material, you choose the field you allow to pass through at what rate. The plasma dictates the control. If you understand this, if it's too hard to understand what it means, very simple way is to understand a simple process. I keep on going on this till you fully understand what it means. When you have a solar system, you have the sun in the center. The sun radiates its field across this structure. If you look, the field goes everywhere. Doesn't matter where you look. If I do it this way, it's the easiest way to do. interface here of Earth, interface here at Saturn, due to gravitational magnetic field interactions, what comes out is the same field strength. There is no difference in the field strength, but the interface here with Earth, the same field creates nitrogen. The same field I'll get rid of this one. But the same field here, is the wrong word, green. It creates helium in Saturn. If you understand this, it means now the sun, the source, here in the center, irradiates same field. What you obstruct or put as a gravitational magnetic field in conjunction with this field dictates what you get. Translate the knowledge into your box. It doesn't want to play. Okay. Translate this into your box. Now, literally, your sun is your three trays. What you take out from it with the coils what you take out with the coils in a nano layer is now you dictate how much of the sun you want to take. You create a field in parallel, which is gravitational magnetic field of the Earth. You create nitrogen. You create a gravitational magnetic field of Saturn. You get helium. For the first time, now you understand how it works. You got to be able to get yourself a very thin tube, not wires, and nano coat them thoroughly with the firing business, not with caustic. So that you create a nanotube inside and outside. When you connect, you don't connect with a wire, you connect with a tube. So your job, all it is, you create this condition. Now the tube carries the plasma through. Frictionless till the point where you put a barrier. The barrier can be a matter barrier, it could be a field barrier, you want copper, you want zinc, you want orange juice, the strength, but what you get at the end is how you transfer this energy into its matter state or plasma state. You want a matter state, you have to create a condition of matter strength. You want a plasma state of the same thing, you keep it in the plasma state. This is the process of the teaching, which starts next term. The innovation group have started. They know what they have to do ready for next term. You will see production of the material out of free plasma. Creation of matter or energy out of free plasma. In the next term, we finish next week. After next week, when we come back in January, the concentration is building units totally using plasma. That's why I told you I have a big surprise coming. Now, you see the foundation. You should be able very rapidly to produce any material from any environment, but there is more to it than this simple condition. You want water, the water unit will show you how you create water. You don't create water, you don't extract water molecules from the air the way you do it with CO2. You create the plasma of the water from your unit, and at the point of demand, you cut it to what you need. If you want the energy of it, in the space you have the energy of it to keep your body diluted. You want the water to swim in, you convert to the next step of matter state. So in a space you can have whatever you need at the point you need. Now that instead of water through the pipe, you cross the plasma. This has been the dream of tokamak for 60 years. This has been the dream of the world of science from the time man started living and understood the creation. Now you understand how to do it. As I said, I teach you everything about the world of creation, and you will understand how easy it's become. I am the beginning, I'm the end. I teach you everything from the beginning to the end. So you will understand how to start, how to convert, and if you don't like it, you put it in the matter state, you gas it again, back to plasma, you got your recycling position. Nothing is wasted. The cycle of the universe, that's why is self-containing, because everything goes back to the beginning. Now for the first time you understand.
Mr. Keshe, this is
Yes.
Brett. On the teachings I did, how you doing? On the teachings I did on Monday afternoon and the private teachings, I went over some of what you just described, but I taught it a little bit different. I used the stacker unit as a source like the sun, but I was telling people about the dynamic reactors and the interactions between the stacker unit to create materials.
I didn't watch it, I was in a meeting in Vatican. We'll see it next time. So we'll see what happens. You'll see how you develop the process. You'll understand how things will go. This is the biggest tool of peace which we'll negotiate. We have amongst us, as part of the Keshe Foundation group, one of the Monsignors of the Catholic Church as part of the Keshe Foundation teaching group. You saw him in the opening 16th of November, and he has been facilitated to start the Peace University of Keshe Foundation, and everything has been set up for him to start in January, hopefully. The Peace University will set in Rome, and will have hopefully collaboration with the Vatican, as their target is the same as us. And this is part of the structure, to understand the totality, and by showing the totality, we enforce peace, because we can do whatever you like. I show the power of this in defense technology. That will amaze you in the third term teaching after Christmas. This for the in-house teachers, the students, not for public. But you should be able to develop a technology where weapons become totally useless. Whatever gunpowder inside the bullet, inside the whatever material, chemicals, you don't destroy them. You enhance them and use their energy for what you want. We warn, now we teach. The defense technology is for a space. You don't do it to disarm. You need it in a space. If you come across a shower of meteorites, dust, magnetic fields, you have to be able to convert it. You can't zigzag. There is no Italian driving going between the lanes. Correct? So you create a condition you use to your benefit if you need it. You don't store it because it's so much energy. By the time you store it, you're too heavy to go anywhere. You create a field reverse of what you have here in your crafts. You can do whatever you like. Our teaching has become totally in a different way. As we said, we put the roadmap, we work in the background, but we push it through the force of the technology, and the push will come after January. We will show you, not me, but the students on the Knowledge Seekers third group. You go back in the lab and you produce materials that not to disappear and then appear, but to convert matter into energy at a point of demand. Because the technique is very easy. You have a bullet in front of you, you have the fastest fighter plane in front of you. All you need to do is just push a button. You decide if you only want the plastic of it, or if you want only galvanized screws. Aircraft without wings, because they have no screws to hold them together. The technique and the technology will be taught in a full detail. Because now you understood you can create this condition, gravitational magnetic field, you can disarm. The way we go, the situation in Paris will not be repeated. Because, as I spoke with defense people, we can create conditions in the environments that no bullets can enter any city, because even the policeman, like the British police force, doesn't need sidearm. Because you create a condition of no arms. If you were in Britain about 10, 15 years ago, when we saw for the first time armed officers on the road of London, on the streets, it was a shocking view, because in England they're used to no armed officers. There was no point of conflict. So we go back to the same position. It is a bit far-fetched for you, but in the next term, that's what you do, disarming. Disarming in a space, not on Earth. Disarming that whatever comes across you, which is harmful to your amino acid, is converted to the energy which does not harm. So you set a minimum level, and above it guarantees your survival, not to be within the process. So now you see where you're coming in from. I started teaching this 2-3 weeks ago, and the Chinese group gone with it. You're too busy with power units, but in fact, as we've seen with the situation in Dubai with Thomas, the intention of having gold created the condition of the gold. The earth creates the fields. The sun releases all the fields. In the interaction of the fields between the earth and the sun is the intention of the planet, because earth is a live entity. It's like you and me. His intention is to regenerate part of itself. Humanity is part of it. So the intention of the planet is to create life. It's the same as when we saw the situation and we explained in a state of matter, you have the emotion, you have the lymph, and the intention of what you call the current through the nerves leads you to creation of the nail, the cell of your heart, or whatever is the intention of the emotion to guarantee survival. So we go in that path, we teach in that path, and most of you, through intention, the magnetic gravitational field is in the universe, you don't need to go for it. The matter state of what you want is in the universe, is your intention, which will become your neural system, give you what you need by creation of the environment within the position of what we call intention. To guarantee survival. You are all so deeply involved in a stupid little maggraph system to have free energy, you've forgotten about the creation, and that's your fault. It's the way you want to go. But a lot of you, since you had the maggraph system, even when you introduced it last year, you should have all been by now masters of creating whatever you want. Alex came just to touch, but you got so carried away with the energy, you forgot anything he was teaching. He's still teaching this process, but everybody else is blind to it. Alex is the only one who's following the path of the creation, and all of you are happy with me a few watts, and it doesn't work. He's a crook. The crookedness is in you who want to steal free, but you don't understand the process. Yesterday, I was explaining in Rome to the people who matter what's going to happen to the financial position of this country. The bankers on Monday, they wanted to know what's the situation with Italy. Now the free energy was created here. I said, you don't have a worry. You have more income. I explained this before. People are producing themselves. You tax the car, you don't care if it's an electric car, it's a diesel car, it's a petrol car. You tax the car, doesn't matter what it is, to have an income. Now you tax individuals. Now you have to pay taxes to live in a country because you want services, you do your free job, you do something else, because the government doesn't need to import oil anymore to be dependent on anything. Your energy supply is zero. Because they said the biggest income for the country comes from fuel and energy taxation. I said, you tax in the middle something, now you tax the individual. Because we don't know who uses maggraph power for food, we don't know who uses maggraph power for energy, we don't know who's making gold in the house. The taxation of the governments, what we indicate to them is individuals. So the taxation doesn't come paying money, the thing comes in serving the society. We serve you, you have everything you want to be in the society, to be a doctor, you serve the nation. The Italian government structure is getting very hot, very rapidly with the Keshe Foundation technology, the way we are doing it. They are facilitating a lot of things for us. And in the background, they don't give us openness, but they are seeing how the technology changes now that we become industrials organization, not a teaching organization. The pen will come out in the next few days. You will see it. I'll show it to you before it comes. This is the pen you will get. It will come in a box, a blue box, as the same as the maggraph. If I can open it, it will slide open, and what you're going to get is a blue pen sitting in a velvet of white. Very beautifully done. It's all blue. It'll be blue, white, with the blue sitting matching color as the box, and has nothing on it except one thing. It says plasma technology, plasma space technology, plasma spaceship technology in the hand of the man, because now you hold it in your hand. The new pads are in the same category of packaging. What it says, plasma spaceship technology on the body of the man, because now you control it. You become part of the plasma of the universe. The way you write is a pen of plasma is in your hand. People understand they enter a new era of technology and science, because now they have plasma in a very simple way. A simple man, a village man, a professor will have the same opportunity to control their life. Certification is completed. We just have to do some of the work on it. It will be released on the CE standard on the 18th of December. You got to realize the technology is on a very fast expansion, not by us, but by government. We've come to understand in the past 48 hours, a number of governments have set up structures research in Europe, just following what you do, but with scientists in classrooms to develop whatever they can as fast as possible. It is out of the hand of the Foundation, it's in the hand of the government. And the only way we have done, with a couple of nations in Northern Europe, we are open. We've asked for the scientists to join here, or I teach them privately in respect to the others. This is why I was away for past few days in different meetings and different things. We are laying the structure of the peace in the European nation. So now you see the game has changed. There are a lot of people writing a lot of things in the background. All they say, let the bees be busy. The structure is going so fast that the television channel of Keshe Foundation, it will be called Spaceship Institute Peace Channel, will be on, most probably on a Skype in the second week of February or beginning of March. All the teachings will be live, we hope, and you can follow it that way. We open a lot of things. As somebody told me in Rome, the professor, a long and standing in work, he said, you spread your knowledge so beautifully that we cannot say no to. You're giving it to us free. You put everything so openly. How can we oppose to what is being received free? But we have to understand how to use the technology. We don't have the knowledge. We have to be retrained. And the only path of retraining comes through mass teaching through satellite, through television channels. Because when people understand it on the television, it's not the internet, people will follow it. So in February, March, we'll go on a mass teaching worldwide. We have acquired the possibility of the head of the person who will run this organization is here next week. He's one of the well-known Italian. We have gathered the most powerful industrialists in Italy, part of the Keshe Foundation structure. You will meet them, they'll give you, they teach you, they'll lecture you in every aspect. You will see them in the next week. They are here on a daily basis. They cover all aspects of the teaching, commercialization in a massive industrial. They are the most powerful businessmen in this country. I said, we have committed ourselves to Italy and we work with this government very closely. We have committed Keshe Foundation to the Italian government and we support in every way that everything is set correctly, that they understand. And at the same time, they're facilitating a lot of things for the foundation here in Italy. And Keshe Foundation is here to stay. We become an Italian entity by manufacturing. We have become an Italian entity by other means. So, as I said to them, our books are open. So you will start seeing Italian scientists teaching here and being taught. We work with the military for defense technology, but in the space, not for harming. We work with cleaning up of huge environmental damages here, especially with the steel industry. Here, you will see one of the most prominent steel industrialists here in this country as part of the board of directors of Keshe Foundation. So with Italy, we've expanded to the other nations because they understood. They don't give a hoot who writes where and what they do, because they understood Italy is on the track to be one of the major industrial nations again, but through plasma technology. Interesting, one of the security guys was telling me, do you know how much rubbish we're getting from Belgium and Germany? You're a terrorist. He said, the more we realize, we know who the terrorists are. We're just keeping an eye on them. So let them write. You got to understand now, for the first time, the whole process of energy conversion is in your hand. We will not teach in a classroom of this size. Teachings will be on a worldwide basis, live 24 hours a day in different languages. The setting up the structure, we go to teaching of our satellite channel on the 24-hour session according to which continent is awake. When we are over Asia, it'll be totally in different languages, in Chinese, Indian, or whatever. Over Europe, we teach in different languages. In America, when there's daylight. This process, which I see, which is wrong with Rick and Vince staying awake during the night for the rest of the mankind to benefit by it, is going to come to an end in January, February. So 24-hour teaching will be, we hand over knowledge transfer to each other. If you want to stay online to learn 18 hours a day and you're good in Chinese, you can stay online. But the teachings will be worldwide. This is why Marco is heading the teaching. He'll be given the facilities to bring everything together. He's given his own website with the man which I keep on forgetting his name, Stanley, and a team will be brought up. A television crew has been brought up. We bring our own team in to teach worldwide, because this technology cannot be with the hand of 1,000 or 10,000 people who sit here on a Friday and about 30, 40 million who watch it during the week in different channel transition. We bring the Keshe Foundation in a level that everyone can make whatever they like. One of the most important things we're going to teach you in the coming weeks is how to make pure gold. Because we want to take the taboo of the finance out of the equation, that we all start living without the taboo of gold. You've seen it, the way it was done in Dubai. We show you physically how to make kilos of gold every day. You can do it. All of you have the knowledge, unless you don't want to look at it. Actually, all of you have already have the knowledge, but you tend to be blind to it. It's been sitting in front of you for past 2 years in public, but I put it so up front that none of you have seen it. It was shown clearly in the Sansano 2 years ago, in the first week of the teaching of the students in the lab. But they didn't understand it. Now, with the plasma technology, we show you how to make gold. All of you, you can make as much as you like. Kilo, 2 kilo, 3 kilo. How much would you like, Mama? None. We are not attached to physicality. So, in the coming time, we show you how to make energy for food to feed nations. This is the program for the third year, which is the third semester, which starts in January the 18th. We lock down only to the students which are here and government officials. Scientists from governmental offices will be taught every aspect of it. Because now you don't understand it, but don't forget, as they say, man has started reverse technology because he doesn't want to understand the reality, but he already knows. He's so clever, he can reverse it, but he doesn't want to see the reality of what is in front of him. You don't need to reverse, you already understand the totality. So we finish next week, is end of this term, 5 days of teaching. And as I said to Marco, from next year, you will get scientists like the professor you had teaching you yesterday on the private teaching for a week sessions. We bring eminent scientists from around the world to teach you per week, not for a session or 2 or 3 hours on the teaching of the net. Marco has been given a budget to carry it out, and he decides which scientists from around the world he wants to bring in which classes to be taught. We bring scientists here. We pay for all their time, their services, their flight, their accommodation. They teach you in the plasma process fully in every aspect that you understand very rapidly. We'll bring you scientists from Africa, from China, from Europe, from Middle East, wherever we see someone who adds to the world peace process and the development of the technology. We have become one of the most powerful scientific organizations. Now we're getting back of the governments with us. We serve the governments through. As we were sitting with Armin, the guy said, when we read about the scams or people who were, what was the title? We've done so many fraud. They opened up, they were setting 600 or 6,000 people to be on the list writing, only 6 people, and all the same people with the same agenda. We received a massive support from a number of governments, and we have responded to it. We share knowledge now that they're ready to share with us. And the only way we can do it is by public mass teaching, not on the internet, but on Skype and main channels. And I'm not here to teach anymore. You'll get Marco deciding the pattern, the head of this SSI teaching, and the others will support the manufacturing, development, and the rest. We have categorized the system in a very good way that the Keshe Foundation has become one of the most successful vertical systems. I explained to you, if you have not understood, in a very simple way, because this is how I explain to the governments. You have to remember one thing. I come from over 20 years of highest level international business with no partnership. So I always developed what is known as a vertical business in the world of commerce. What does this vertical mean? You don't rely on the others on either side. You build your empire upright. This way, everything is inside. You don't need anything from outside. We started with the teaching, and now the teaching has reached a huge numbers. So we have achieved our teaching. We have brought in now what we call the Innovation Center in Philippines, which allows the teachings to be converted to usable technology people can use. On top of it, now we have brought a team of scientists who, once the innovation is completed, can translate it into commercial language. Now you have your manufacturing, and on top of manufacturing, we have brought in a team of distributors, sales team that we don't need to. So the distribution is completed. There are 2 pieces left. One is commercialization on the media, advertising, putting it in the market, which we need the TV stations, which are all getting set up. And the last point is the banking system, which, as we told you, is getting there. There's a high possibility there will be a very big surprise very soon. So we don't need anybody from outside. We teach ourselves as a one race nation, not the Keshe Foundation. We innovate together. We get it sorted by the scientists together, commercialized in different countries, marketed by people around the world, not by agents, but we give them correctness. We advertise for them what we produce. We don't rely from outside advertising for the television. Each manufacturing advertises what it likes, and we give them banking facilities. So we don't need anything. The Keshe Foundation, this is already achieved. Up and running, is running, this is done, this is agreed. It takes just a few weeks, and this is more or less in the pocket. So you are part of a well-structured entity with 20, 30 years of high-level business understanding. We do not give instructions. We invite you to join us. that you can share your talents with the rest. So if up to now you made the Ganses and you made the nano coating and you have taught each other everything about nano coating God has ever created, I don't think even God knew there's this so many ways of teaching nano coating. Millions of ways. But at least each one of us understand that way. If one of you teaches how to nano coat that one of us hasn't understood and he can understand with your way of teaching, we achieved our goal. It's not that you're wrong. You just need to reach one person to teach more, to understand more, to get free of the shackles of the limitation of physicality. So as a team, the way we are setting it up, everything will be correct. Everything legally in every country will be set correctly. I'm bringing in one of the top managers in Italy to head the Keshe Foundation, totally worldwide management team of setting up, running up, and developing the whole structure. In the time to come, Armand will take my position. This is what he's here for. Not only to be as a master, but most of my responsibilities will transfer to Armand as long as he's here to serve the foundation. The education side goes with Marco. And the others from different nationality and races come to develop the rest. But we head international business to the international businessmen and bring them with greatest of pleasure to serve. But as an Italian organization, we stay first within the Italian structure. So you can see we passed the time of talk, and you have to understand we are talking everything in such a development with such a large quantities that no government can refuse. It creates so much business, it creates so much employment, and it's all will be a few big industries. The rest of this technology, the cottage industry, means a few people. Few people can produce different things and market and survive. You have what I call Italian structure. Italian structure, you don't, very few companies are 200 or 300 people. It's 5 or 10, but a lot of them doing the same thing near each other. They create thousands of jobs. Am I correct? This is how north of Italy has become industrious, not by huge industries, but what is known family cottage business. But they all gather together. All the pan makers are in one area, but they all make the same pan. But they have a slightly different taste, so they can all survive within the structure. My immediate management team, very close, we have chosen, we will be introduced to you, they're very Italian, they're totally Italian, and with them, the structure of the foundation will sit in the hand of Armand, how he wants to do it in the time to come. He's had enough expertise, he's gone all over the place, and he's learning how to bring it together. Marco has been here 2 years, he understands what needs to be done on teaching, so he's taken the responsibility. In so many ways, you have everything you need. It's going so fast that we cannot catch up. That's our problem. It's going too fast. We were tied down for 10 years in Belgium by what I call terrorism. Now we are open, we teach freely, and we have enough to do because there's so many of you who want to do. We will not get everything right. We will make a lot of mistakes. It's a habit of man. It's a man-made structure. But the beauty of it is, it's like his plasma. It's never wrong. You can always do something with it. Somebody told me Bible was not distributed so fast during the time of Christ for 250 years. We reach more people with our books than Bible managed to achieve in 1,000 years. You find in every English hotel a Bible next to you. Our books have become that much because people are distributing it freely, which is what our wish. So the beauty of it is, the more people get free books, the more books they order because they want to have it in their hand. On the computer is stolen, it's gone, they can't do it. It helps us to sell more hard copies than actually internet copies. Thank you for your service. So you understand the process. From next month, you will see government officials on all your teaching. Scientists from different universities appointed by governments will be here, or they sit in their classrooms in their countries they'll be taught from. The direction is to teach you everything possible that by the summertime, your dream of a spaceship becomes complete. All the productions of all the systems in Italy and around the world will be automated. So as we said, we have set it up to about 1 million pieces a month. We have the beauty of Italy is this is a niche market for Italian manufacturers. Automation at the highest level, and our team will bring that in to deliver. It's already started. So we teach the same thing to all the Keshe Foundations around the world, access to the machinery and the systems to do whatever is needed to do to reach the market. For the third world nations, what you call will all be one nation. There won't be any third world nation very soon. We give systems that they can do it freely and they can adopt it. Please understand, we are not here to give you a MAGRAPH system. The MAGRAPH system was a way to get knowledge into the hand of the public by backdoor of government accepting it. And we achieved it by teaching you how to make MAGRAPH system, which you all have made, and the governments know it's going to be there very soon because everybody else is making it. We have forced the governments to accept the technology as an acceptable technology worldwide. I planned it, executed it, and now in the past few days, I've seen it, how it works. I was with the Italian guy, checking. I got cleared before the Italian. I was telling, what do you call it, Giovanni this morning, because they are so much on top of us, they know it has to be done. The government have realized the technology is absolutely what it's supposed to be, because the easiest thing is, I go to their offices, you're a minister of health, you have a pain. There's no man without a pain. Can I choose my pen? 10 seconds. There is something in there. We want it. They take it to their wives and they say, if the wife accepts it, it must be something in it. We haven't had any wife refusing the pen yet. So we got through the governments, through the wives, which is the main hinge of the society. 8th of December is a Jubilee of the Vatican. They open the doors of Vatican for everybody to go. I suggested we would like to go on the stand outside. Anybody comes in to give them a free pen. Would you like to be pain free? The process is not in my hand anymore. The process is in your hand. I've taught, I keep on teaching, I add to the knowledge, but how you spread it is in your hand. There are 25 people, what we call terrorists, we know where they are. Governments are watching them. 6.9999975 of the billion are ready to accept delivery. A lot of you took the system, you made it, and you said, it doesn't work. We just realized, actually it works better than you think, but you haven't seen it. Armand has a big problem, but actually you have no problem. It's a magic box. You've all been looking on the wrong side. I tried to explain it to you last week. You didn't understand it. We're going to show it to you because you're so physical. When you see it says, again, but it's for you, not for us. Listen, how many times since Alex has been here, we've been over this? hundreds of times. But none of you see it, is your problem. Now we're going to show it to you. Alex came here in what? October? July? Oh yeah, it's already gone so fast. What about you? Second time. The power production has been in front of all of you since Alex came, and it's been in front of you when I put the Coca-Cola on net 10 years ago. You choose to look that way, it's not my problem. I put it in the bottle. The system doesn't work. Is something wrong with it? The system works perfectly. You don't understand it. It's not my job to tell you. Till somebody breaks it, I'm going to show you. And I have to teach it to some people because of the production. So few people now. In the coming weeks, we teach the rest. But keep on making your calls. None of you is wrong. You still have your 20, 30 kilowatt system. Because what I'm going to show you, the only point which is going to fail, it won't be my system, it will be the national grid. If your fuse box can't take it, that's your limit. Armand is going to kick in some. But it's good kicking sometimes. He's been on the flight to Philippines and back to make sure he brings that unit. He comes in, he talks, it's not working. I said, you're not looking in the right side. It just dropped by a few watts. It needs time. It works, but it's not dropping to what you thought. The power of the system you brought from Philippines could be as much as 30 to 50 kilowatts. I'm going to show you how to use it. I've been on it 2 or 3 times. People miss it, but it's on the table. You got to do it. I'll show you more. We don't accept any system return is not working. We tell you, you haven't understood. Do it our way. It's working exactly what it's supposed to. Follow the writing on the manual of the system you received. And when you get to the last part, come back to the foundation. We tell you what you're going to do next. The system you received up to now, whatever you've done, it needs addition and the right positioning, then you have your system. And I tell you one thing, we haven't given you a Magra pile. In so many ways, we have given you a generator of plasma. Do not be disappointed. Just get your coil sorted, get the coating sorted, keep it on your trays, keep it connected to your circuit in the house, and then I'll tell you what's the next step. But if you have time, you made so many extra coils, make a 4th coil with a capacitor on it, the 4 capacitors, because all you do, you need it to be able to use it for what you need. Happy? Any questions, Mr. Alvin? Are there any questions? Please understand one thing. You are part of one nation, one family, one planet, one race. So if you don't understand, there is somebody out there who can teach. And if you can't teach, join the Keshe Foundation of your own nation to teach. We need a lot of language teaching. This technology should not be open to English speaking or those who can understand. If you understand English, translate. We used to do this at the beginning of the Keshe Foundation in the Sensano, and somehow it got all muddled up by the spies who came to kill me. They deliberately made sure it won't happen. We're going back to it again, because this time we won, they lost. The winning was the knowledge is free across what we wanted to do, but what we need now to go back to the same position. Open your own language teaching. Giovanni is doing a very beautiful job here in Italy. He makes a little bit mistakes. They tell me, the Italians, have you seen what he's done the way he taught? Why doesn't he teach? But he's in the institute. I said, he's a human. He's allowed to make mistakes. But sometimes it's not a mistake. You don't understand. Oh, you have to teach him to teach us better. No problem. You're Chinese, you're Spanish speaking. We give you every platform to teach in your language. We have access to the Zoom condition that we can give you as teachers free Zoom time. You don't need to take 40 minutes that it shuts down. We back the financial supporting to have a full free structure that if you teach any of our knowledge and you want a teaching time, go back to the support, ask for it. If you're a bona fide somebody who understands, doesn't teach rubbish, the rubbish to me is non-plasmatic, then we give you all the background support in the foundation teaching group. It's been built. We've done it this week with Mike Nassif. It costs you maybe $1,200, $1,500 to have access to such a package. You want to teach, we facilitate it through the foundation. All we need, it has to be bona fide that it's teaching of the plasma and not selling of technologies or whatever you might open up for yourself. But we give you access to teach. We need multi-language people. Sandor is doing it in Romanian and Czech, Hungarian. There are Spanish people who are teaching. There are volunteers which now gathered in Holland and Belgium together. Yes, we have to support them through the center. Thank you very much for the Belgian nation and the Dutch nation. They've got together, they are setting up their own structure, they have their own teachers to teach. We support them. They've set up a meeting for all the Dutch and Belgians next week. We will be there by satellite, or what do you call it, Zoom, to carry on teaching. I've accepted to teach Italians one Saturday a month or whatever, but live directly to them, private, or to their language. It can be in any other language. Any language you speak and you can teach, you can use our Zoom facility to teach, and then it stays as an archive of the foundation. All we need to do, when we put a flag on the website, you touch the flag, you get your teaching in whatever has been taught by somebody around the world in that language. This is the only way we can spread the knowledge, but please do not quote what I teach. Understand what I teach and teach it in your own language. Otherwise, become the parrot life. Add your own flavor to it, your own understanding to it, and we support you through the Keshe Foundation teaching. The book number 2 and 3 in German are more or less completed. They'll go online. The Italian book number 1 is completed. The Chinese book 1, 2, and 3 is completed, but it's done by the Chinese University for distribution. We have the Portuguese done, and other languages, the French. And we had the Romanian people who were here 3-4 weeks ago. They will translate all the books to, what is it, 12 or 18 languages, European languages, in the coming weeks or months. So everything will be available in most of the languages. If you have a talent, we put on the education side for the translators who can put their work, or they can ask support to do it. We have become a multinational, international organization in every asset, and we have the financial means to back it, to support all the work of the foundation. We don't go to the banks because we don't need to, and we don't go asking governments, can we do something? We do it till the government says correct, allow us more to do. Any questions?
Yes, Mr. Keshe, you were speaking about
Who's speaking from where?
it's Luigi, from Canada.
And he's sitting in my classroom. And this is what I call in the middle of winter. We are all in jackets and coats. I come here with a coat and a jacket.
I'm dressed
It's not
warm.
cold. Would you like to show us how bad it is, how multinational
They've
we are?
seen me.
They've seen you. He comes with the shorts and the short sleeve on the bike as it's the middle of the summer. but we can't help it. It comes from Toronto. This is snowing there here. Carry on.
Yeah, you were mentioning about the taking out of the mag-grav units a tube versus a solid wire. Are you also talking about winding the coils with a tube type wire?
You're a bit early, yes.
Yeah, okay, that's what I understood.
You got the message. You are a little bit too early, but in a way, yes. That's the only way you can do it.
Is that available on the market?
I have one. Hollow tubes. No. No.
Hollow wire, you mean?
Maglev system. No. It's part of the structure. You got to get to it. And then you have to understand it's very dangerous, extremely dangerous, if you don't have a full command. I explained to you why I keep it in the background. Now it's on the table. I explained to you. Any of you who's thinking to do it, think 1,000 times before even contemplate on doing it. Understand why. I go back. I go back to this picture. Maybe I can show it to you in this picture. You have a condition when you have tubes which are hollow tubes, which are hollow tubes, which are hollow tubes, which are hollow tubes, and then you have another hollow tubes which is there, and then you have 3 stacks of hollow tubes on top of each other, and then you have a plasma center on each one. And if you're looking down a tube which is fully nano-coated, what do you call it? Fully nano-coated inside and outside, and then you put a GANS on it, you can see how in each tube you create a condition of different matter state or plasma state. I told you, I don't teach you till you're there. If you understood this, you should understand how to make any matter you like. You have the gravitational sitting in the core, you have magnetical sitting on the other core. 2 hollow tubes. You can tap at each point of the hollow tube what you need to do. I always said to you, I don't teach you till you reach a point of maturity you can understand. It's very much like a Lego box. You've been to a shop buying a Lego, it says from 3 to 5 years. You give it to a 2-year-old cannot do it, you give it to a 5-year-old knows how to do it. You make it 10 to 12 years old, you give it to a 9-year-old, still not there. You give it to an 11-year-old, can do it. You give it to a 14, till you don't get to the age, I don't teach. Now you ask the question, yes, the answer is. This is the way you make materials as you like. You feed your plasma from the pipe into another pipe according you need by turns. You increase the number of the gravitational turn. The way you make the capacitors, you make the essence of life. You made a capacitor, we saw. You make the capacitor like this. You use 3 turn, or you use 5 turn. You decide to have a 1-turn gravitational orange juice. But don't forget, you are in this state. You decide to have tomato juice, you make 2 coils. The knowledge of creation is in your hand. You decide what you want.
Now, couldn't we get rid of the copper wire and use some fine plastic tubing and use GANs instead?
Do whatever you like. You know the path. It's for you to explore. Don't forget, very simple. When you have a coil within the limit, the flux that you create counts, not the matter. If you want the matter, you have to condition the matter condition to it. You take it or you add to it. You take gravitational more or you put a stronger gravitational magnetic field to it, it manifests itself as a matter. But you can stand at the end and you can go, what a nice orange juice, but you haven't touched anything because you feel, because it's got both gravity and magnetical, it has the emotion, the taste, and the feeling, and the energy. So now, if you understood that part of it, you can see you came from a coil. The coils are plasmons of different strength. Go back as a plasma to the coil, you got what I told you, it'll be a cottage industry like nothing.
And that would be a perfect orange, I bet.
Pardon?
It would be a perfect tasting orange.
Most probably better than you think. Nowadays, I always try to get my children to have fruit. The only way I tell them is like winning a puzzle. Till you don't open it, you don't know how it tastes. And then it's a surprise next time. It's going to be the sweet one or the sour one, or you buy the same one to get the same sweetness, but it turns out to be sour. This way, you decide. I like it a bit sweeter, I like it sour. But the taste and emotion comes from your internal emotion with the presence of the field. You decide.
From your needs. From your needs.
From your pleasure.
From your pleasure. Well,
From
both.
your course. Now maybe I'll go back to something else, you understand? Why they said, I made man in the image of myself. And then you might understand why we have Adam and Eve. Because when you have the Eve out of your own spirit, you can make it any shape or color you like. Very puzzling, Marco. The wife will be very difficult now. You got to understand, you have access to the full knowledge. I teach you slowly to understand the process of creation. In this process, you are still half man, half beast. You're still in a matter environment, but at least you can get a confirmation to get enough confidence to move into non-matter condition. All the reactors you made, all the coils you made, I kept on telling you, don't do anything with it, keep it. What you're going to do, test something very interesting. See if you can achieve it. If you don't lose your matter, it's a technique. Find a way that, how do I put it? I teach it to you this. You have a nanotube. When we put this, we're talking about 30, 40,000 layers. It's not just one layer. We're talking about 30, 40,000 layers of it. But if you look at the bottom of it, it will be looking like this. Where, when you look, it's hollow, but it's confined with nano material. It's very difficult to do unless you know a trick. Because to hold a nanomaterial in a plasma condition, to hold its shape, is trying to get an elephant through the hole of a needle. But it can be done. I can get an elephant through the needle. You got to chop it into small pieces, we go through it. Understand what I said. You got to make a condition of multi-nano materials. If it's hard for you to understand what it means, hold your hand in front of you, look at your skin, that's what it is. Repeat the structure of nanomaterials. Go back to the teaching of the medical, good news or bad news? Who? Where from? Who? No, Giovanni is responsible for this. Yeah, this happens because they heard we used to stay in a hotel. They go and book in the same hotel we used to stay. A lot of people travel around the world. They heard we used to stay in a hotel. They arrive in a hotel we used to stay months ago. But they are there and they go into the manager says, Mr. Keshe used to be here. Do you know where he is? And I get a call from him, Mr. Keshe, somebody else here wants to see you. I said, keep them in the hotel. That's yours, not mine. I had a very nice call from the hotel we stayed in for 3 weeks in the Sensano, in Brescia, before we moved into the Sensano. The manager is a friend because we gave the peace conference there and a couple of other conferences. He says, I have one thing assurance, okay? I said, the room you stayed in, people come and ask for, and it's always booked. He said, I have a lot of booking here. They just want to stay in the room that Mr. Keshe stayed. He says, I'm fully booked more or less in that room. I said, I didn't know you're so popular. I said, can I have a commission for the rooms, please? And now we see this is the 4th person in a month. They go to the hotel, because I said months ago, and they try to bribe the manager to see where I am. Now they send the text out here. Yes.
Okay, so Mr. Keshe, this morning I got up and I started teaching, and the discussion that we started, I don't know if you want me to go here and
Yes.
wait until next year.
Wait till next year.
Okay.
No, go through it. It's okay.
We wanted to jump out there and we wanted to start talking about the creating nanomaterials from root systems.
From?
Root systems.
Speak to the expert in this is Alex.
Well, we came up with our own stuff already.
Okay.
So
you want to share?
Yeah.
Okay. I'll sit down. Stand there, teach. Okay. The pen? No problem. Okay. You want my microphone too?
I think this will be fine, right?
Okay, no problem.
I'm left-handed, so most of the stuff works good.
You got to keep it a bit higher that we can hear you. Come. This is easier. I'll give you a little bit for a while. Don't go home with it. I'll put it in your pocket.
Okay.
And don't go to toilet with it.
Okay.
You have to open it. Bring it there.
Okay. All right. So today, what we were discussing was putting a nano layering on root systems, vines, anything like that. So I'm just sticking to what Keshe said before, which was if we use the same principles, the copper or the vine is the same thing. Yeah, it has a nano coating that's on top of it naturally. All right, but what's in the inside of it? It's GANs. Yeah, because the pulp and everything that makes up the root system is in a GANS form anyway. All right, so technically you have a GANS tubing right there if you know how to convert the GANS. This goes back to something Keshe said to me before when I asked him about the carbon when we were making the coils and we were using charcoal. And he said that it was a very easy way to convert the nanomaterials inside of the carbon to turn them back into a GANs. So if that's the case, then if you have a vine or a root system, then it would be the same thing as using a copper. All right. What we want to do is we want to first put a nano coating on the outside of a vine. All right. And then we want to be able to convert the interior that's already there. The vine is picking up all of the trace minerals from out of the ground already. Yeah. So there you have a gradient already. Depending on where it's planted, where it's not planted, okay, you're going to have a difference of, this is something that me and you talked about yesterday, yeah? Which is what we really want is we want the interactions. I hope I'm being a good student. All right, okay. So what we want is an interaction where we're getting this all the time. So what Mr. Keshe talked about today was taking water and letting the water dictate, first of all, the GANs' own balance. Let the GANs choose their balance themselves. So what we were trying to figure out is if we took a vine set and we coiled it in a way just like a copper, could we produce the same effects? And yeah, we got into a discussion with it all morning about this. And my only thing was on the inside of that vine and those roots is all GANs. And there are trace minerals throughout the entire thing. So the next thing is how do we convert them into a GANs so that we keep their magnetic and gravitational fields without, how shall I say, without actually bringing them down to a matter strength. Yeah. So we leave them in a plasmatic state. All right. Now, if we have a GANs, if we have a nano layering that's already on the outside of the vine, all right, then the next thing that we're looking for is how we create the condition on the inside of the vine to use it for the recreation of GANs. Because if we have that, then what we have now is basically like what you see these guys have with the plastic tubes, and it's full of a CO2 GANs on the inside. All right. So the outer shell of a vine basically already has a nano coating on it. All right. Now, if it already has a nano coating on it, then Mr. Keshe, I think the next thing that I would ask you is, okay, he's a little bit busy, but you know, I like for maybe someone to answer the question of this. If we use a vine, all right, now we know on the inside of it, it already has minerals, everything is already in it, yeah? If we did that, what is the process of converting this nano layering into something that converts the rest of the materials in here back into a plasma? All right, and I think that would be maybe cold caustic, a very gentle method of some kind, on where we are just putting a very gentle layer on the outside so that we coat the plasmas to start to behave different. All right, that was my first thing, but we were just brainstorming about this, about our own methods. Now, once again, I'm going back to alchemy with this, all right, because alchemy teaches me that all of this is the same. We're just dealing with different field strengths. So what I want to do is I want to create a very high field strength on the outside, which is my nano coating, yeah, and then cause what we say is a cascading effect on the inside, where the nano layers start to interact with the GANs that's in the inside of the vine, which is completely organic. But most of the stuff that the vine has inside of it is already in a plasmatic condition because it's in a trace mineral condition. So, Mr. Keshe, I was just wondering where you stood on this. Okay. All right. Okay. Okay. All right. Well, then that means that we're not that far off. That was the only thing that I wanted to add to this is that we wanted to see where we could eliminate the copper completely. And when he was talking today about nanotubing, this is something that we had discussed maybe 2 months ago. And it was about increasing the surface area. And this is alchemy 101, yeah? If you have a surface area of this coil right here, which is why you coil it in the first place, is to increase your surface area, all right? Now, if it's hollow, then you've just doubled that, which means you've doubled the strength because you have this same surface area on the inside also. So you have nano coating on both sides, and I think that Keshe said before that if it's thin enough, it will convert all the way to a GANTS, to a nano coating or type of GANTS coating. So even the copper that's in between the hollow, the walls would convert themselves so it would be just a complete nanotubing, all right? And the reason why the vines came up today was because I was saying, well, this is already a nanotubing. And I see people now taking GANTs and pushing it inside of plastic things so that they have a tubing that they have. So why not use something natural so we can eliminate the copper completely? And that's what we're looking at. That's what I'd like to focus on, because if we're consistently looking for copper and we're looking for these things, it's a dependency. And that's not what I teach. I don't teach dependency, all right? We need to be able to go out into the world and use our creativity, our hands, in any shape, way, form that we can. Okay, Mr. Keshe? Okay.
Is there, we can't hear
There's a
you.
microphone here, no problem. It's good for me. I'm old man. I need the rest. It's good. The young ones.
I came here to help you, Keshe. I
No
came to help you,
problem.
baby. I came to help you, for
Yeah,
sure.
no problem. You see, what you just explained there
Mhm.
about the root, this is what I said to Alex and Benjamin before they went to Africa.
Mhm.
I said to them, don't look to the West for material that you cannot do. In Africa, you have roots. Use the roots, it'll give you the same result.
Mhm.
The only thing is you got to understand there are two ways to energize that gas. You can coat it with a strength of its own to release its energy, or you can extract it, change it, and put it back in to release its energy.
Okay.
So the second one is difficult, especially if you have a long route.
Okay.
The first one is your better option. You got to make a condition, find another material in the root world, in the matter of the jungle world,
Mhm.
which the root is tougher than what you are considering, so it must be a stronger strength packing. Make a GANS of it, make a nanomaterial of it, and coat your root in it. That now becomes part of it, the
Mhm.
same as I showed above.
Mhm.
So your option is two ways. You can't drill it out because you want to use it. Drilling a root is not so easy,
Mhm.
but you nano coat it with a stronger root GANS.
Okay.
If you understand how to do it, that you can connect yourself is one of the ways to do it. One of the other ways to do it is in a way to put a GANS around the skin of its own leaf. Make a GANS of his root, line up the skin of the root where it came from. Because one of the things which you realize is the beauty of the creation. Creation is very easy. If you get this root ends up with a leaf somewhere.
Mhm.
Get its own leaf and cover it in it
I think the
with a GANS.
microphone.
No, it's okay. So that's one way to do it.
Okay.
but you got to find a root of a stronger base
Uh-huh.
to base it in. The field will interact with it. It gives it life and it allows it to survive, and it can use it. I was talking. I'll give you this back.
Okay. Let me put this one right here.
One of it's okay. No problem. Thank you very much.
I saw you, Rick asked a question. You can get back to me.
One of the guys in innovation team is very much into this. He is the guy you saw his hand showing you the firing of the coils. And he photographs these things. He looks at how the vines with the legs attached to each other, why there are some clockwise, some anti-clockwise, and he shows you pictures of how what do you call it, a vine with its tendons attach itself to a wall, and then suddenly in the middle it turns the other way. He was showing me these pictures a few months ago, and he's understood. He's one of the guys who understood the essence, and he just translates the physicality into the essence, and that's why you understand how it does the work. So in so many ways, you look at the structure of the root. The structure of the root is very much the same as the little tendon which goes out. You got to see why roots change and how you can change it to your own benefit. Go back to the teaching of the Keshe Foundation Chinese, very first teachings. It's in archives. We saw when the Chinese used the CO2 GANs, the root finished shorter, and they were not so long. The roots came to the surface instead of spreading down. Ask yourself one single question: why? Is the gravitational magnetic field of the CO2 on the soil is so strong that it pulls them up to itself? Or does it give enough that it dictates it that I prefer to go up to get than drilling down to get harder? Path of rest resistance. Yeah. So is the strength changes by the CO2, or does the CO2 create a condition that millions of years of evolution has changed within a few seconds of a few drops of CO2? You understand? For a root to understand how deep it can go, how far it can go, is embedded in its DNA and RNA. Over millions of years evolved. The power of the GANs of CO2 and the others which you make, if you understand, is so powerful that it really overrides millions of years of evolution. But you look at it as a picture, but you don't understand its strength. Understand, you only need a very simple. The root is there, and all you've done, you put a few drops of GANs. What you have created is literally a huge gravitational magnetic field. Because this has a part of its amino acid, carbon and oxygen in it, all it does, it facilitates much easier. Why should I go down when I can have everything there? If you understand this, you can change the structure of inside of the root to become GANs the way you like, because now by dictating new environment over your root, you want it to be solid, you want it in a plasma condition, because now you dictate the environment inside. You understand? So you have to look for a stronger field. What root to use? You've been to Africa. In Africa, you have holy trees. Wow. Yeah. You see how beautiful they are, how many centuries they last. Huh? And nobody can touch it unless they're priests. The holy man says they turn roads around them. Look at their roots. You'll learn a lot. Look at the structure of the tree. You learn a lot. Look at the twist on the branches of the tree. And if with a few drops you can override millions of years of evolution, then you see how easy you've got to work. We had our Spanish agriculture guy showed us a few nanomaterials, and the thing has created harvest so much. What does it mean? It means he has found a way to release more energy in one direction inside the system. So it's very easy to understand evolution. You got to find a way. You got to find a GANS. The way we put a GANS on this copper from a stronger root that allows this GANS to be diluted. Not as matter dilution, but as a plasmatic gravitational magnetic field dilution. So now, go and look at the root of the. I love the tree because I used to stand and literally adore its structure. And when you go in Gambia, there's a few places that these trees were there from ancient times, and now they build the road, and the tree is growing. They don't know where to put the road now. This is a strange situation. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. So you have to look at the strength. It's very much, if you go about 60 kilometers from here, 800 kilometers from here to the south of Italy, towards Monopoly and lower, even in this area, there are trees, wine trees, olive trees, which are more than 2,000 years old. You see them. But don't look at the tree. Look at the structure, how the tree has evolved, that it strengthens itself, that with a little connection to the ground, it can produce such a huge amount of olive. If you understand it, then go back again to the olive and see why the soft side is outside and the hard side in the middle. Why can't you put the hard side outside and the soft side inside and use this GANS? It's no different. You look at the nut has decided to put the hardest gravitational magnet, the strongest outside, to keep the nut inside. If you look at the olive, it's done the reverse. It's put the hard side inside, it's put the soft one outside. If you understand that, to produce this should be very, very easy. Because it's not done by the stone, as you go back to the teaching before, when you have a stone, inside it you have a soft membrane. We call it the seed we eat. But it's this membrane which in fact decides the shape of the softness of the olive. Not the skin outside, inside. It's inside which stays outside. And the same is with the nut, but not this time. Besides, I do away with this after I finish. I stay as a hard shell. With still skin. If you take a walnut, if you take any other nut, we still peel the softer skin. We have a hard one. The shape of the skin, the shape of the shell is dictated by the membrane inside, not by the plant. Depends what it can accommodate itself, it decides what the shape it can make. And the field which it dictates, it creates, it dictates the shape of the fruit. So that's, if you understood this, This is the skin of your root. This is the membrane of the root, which you want to do. All you need to do, find the right plasma. That you can keep this in a plasma condition that you can. So it's very easy. This is what I said when we were going in the car down with Alex and Benjamin. And I said to both of them, don't look into the West for fancy boxes. Look inside Africa because it's so rich, but find out what you can use. And both are doing the same. You want the roots, understand what liquidifies the root, but in a plasmatic gravitational magnetic field, not in matter state of boiling it or drilling it and softening it. You don't need to GANS it. You need to create a gravitational magnetic field that what is inside the root start finding a space to transfer its energy to where you want. Very easy. That's what it does. If you look at the root, it creates a gravitational magnetic field inside, which absorbs what it needs from the environment. So the tubing and the material is the same as the CO2 box machine, but it's in a cylindrical shape. There is something inside which you have to find out what it is. You have the skin outside, which is a nanotube. That substance in the center dictates the shape of the root and when it's going to be dry or wet. If you can do it outside the same, then you'll find out you transfer energy outside it. Or go a step further, what we do in the boxes. What we do in these Magra boxes, we put a little wall of gas in the middle. All of them carry as a center of distribution of energy. So look at that one. That's your option. In the center of every root, there is a channel of magnetic field. You see it as a hollow, or you see it as a very hard center. That is what you call the principal matter, which dictates the rest of the root. They call it, even look at the carrot, you have a hard bit in the middle. That's the piece which dictates the shape, not the carrot which dictates that. So if you understand that, reverse the condition, you can use any tree. You can literally, Africa is the most beautiful continent for these things. For roots, for understanding the behavior of the roots, and you can do a lot with it. You don't need to bring any fancy copper coils from Africa, from Europe to go to Africa.
That was my thinking, Mr. Keshe. The Americas also have a beautiful amount of root systems and things like that. One is the California redwood, which I believe lasts for thousands of years. This tree can grow for. So I was looking at the attributes of specifically some of the root systems in the southern part of Americas, Brazil, Chile, particularly Costa Rica and some of these things, because they have huge amounts of vines, because they have surface space for jungles a little bit more than Africa. Africa is mostly plains until you get around the equators. So we wanted to look for something that would just add to the knowledge instead of trying to be a dependent on copper or.
We depend on copper because is through the industrial revolution of the electricity is available to everyone. You try to get people and get a root, you'll find no trees left. But you can unplug a piece of wire from, as I say, grandmother's side lamp, and you've got your system done.
Yeah, yeah.
You understand? So in Africa, you don't have that opportunity. So if you use what is in the natural process of the whole country, one of the best processes are the fruits in Africa as one of the most powerful energy sources.
The fruits?
Yeah. You have a different food available. If you stand, especially in West Africa, most of the nations, you have a very huge size mangoes.
Mhm.
They're about 1 or 2 kilos, some
Yep.
of them.
Like footballs,
Yeah,
American
the
footballs.
American
they look
football
like,
size.
yeah,
You don't want one of those to hit you on the
yeah.
head. But look at the color on them. Why do we choose the color of ripeness? What dictates is the magnetic gravitational field, which is dictated from inside. I don't need anymore, or I reach a point of maturity. Huh? The color of the fruit gives you the strength of the fruit. Yeah. Why dates are black and they have such a thin skin? What does blackness means in nanomaterials? Absorbing all the energy. That's why you can't eat more than a few days, and that's why you can live with a few days a day for a whole day. Trees, what are called the vertical people, are the biggest source of intelligence and knowledge for man, but we decided, we think we are, what do you call it, kingdom. Actually, we put our own name into it. We are the dumbest of the kings, so but we think we're still the king. You understand? Any other question?
Yeah, Mr. Keshe, in my teaching the other day, I was talking about using these tubes inside the reactors and putting different materials in them to see what the results would be as far as making materials or getting energy field effects. I wanted to know if you had any experiments doing that.
Empty. You don't want to see the reactors are built from Iran and the things I've done in it. You can literally pour anything you like out of them. If I don't know where it is, but it's somewhere in the lab, if you find the original, the very first original reactor core, which was built out of stainless steel 10 years ago, if you look into it, it's black, because I did exactly what you want to do. I did all the tests with it, and then I put caustic in it to create a nano condition like the center of Earth in it. And I did a lot of experiments. If I bring it to you, I don't know where it is, but it's somewhere. I think it's at home with me. If I bring it tomorrow, next session, you see it's a lot of holes and the screws in it. I could put anything and create anything I like out of it. I put a condition of nanomaterial with the holes in it the way I want. I could dictate what I want to get out of it. It has 3 holes. It gives me the condition. What I teach you now with everything else, I've done this for 10 or 15 years. So I can tell you exactly how you can use nanomaterial. The first nanomaterial coated, totally magnified, is over 10 years old now. Any other question?
Yes, there's someone had a question here. I'm not sure. I think it relates to the root situations from EMC squared. If you want to try talking there, what is your question?
Hello, Mr. Keshe.
Yes, good morning.
Hi. Good morning. This is Emilio from Taiwan, and I was wondering if the previous gentleman mentioned how we could put a thin layer of nanocoating on vegetation, and I was thinking, is it possible to nanocoat copper plates and rub the vines on the nanocoating to get a thin layer of the nanocoating on the vines? If maybe that would be a good coating.
You come from Taiwan?
I am.
Pardon?
I'm American, but I'm living in Taiwan right now.
Okay. Most probably you go for a Chinese food or takeaway, or you make it yourself in a wok. The minute you throw the vegetable in, you already nano-coated it. In the West, we use oil. In the East, use hot pans. If you use a hot pan, the minute you touch, you can do the same thing as you do with the heating of the material. You just need to touch it. Vegetables, nanomaterial, is created very, very fast. You can do it with a high heat plates. And if you can get it the right way, without cooking it, it gets nano-coated, it creates inside. The Chinese do this in their cooking. High temperature plates, touch the food, heat internally, you create a nano layer outside, heat's absorbed inside, very fast, job is done. You nano coat every time you eat the Chinese, if you eat in the way they make it raw.
Thank you, Mr. Keshe.
Thank you.
I had another question. I don't know if I can ask this about nano coating normal copper coils.
Yeah.
I remember you mentioned before that when we connect the power unit to the wall, it will start nano coating all the wires in the wall. So I was thinking, instead of using a torch on future power units that I would build, why don't I connect my first power unit to the rest of the power units and let the nano coating grow from the first one to all of the rest? Would that create a more smooth plasma coating?
This is
Thank you.
what we said in the teaching a couple of weeks ago. This is what is planned for the factories. Because of the caustic situation and environmental hazard, making nano coated materials from plasma is the easiest way, and it's one of the things that's under consideration in the factory here in Italy. That we don't need caustic. When I look at the disposal cost of the caustic, €2 per liter, and you're using 20, 30,000 liters at a time, it's 50,000 every day down the drain. So it is one of the only ways to do it. But we have to produce the systems that we can deliver the power, or we go back to it. You got to realize it's no use playing the new game of electric motor saving energy. This is the biggest fraud ever hit motor industry and ever hit humanity. Access to the back door. But look good and clean, because now people want electric cars. In the present car, you have a car. Ooh, I'm not very good at it, but it's got 4 wheels. You go to a fuel station, you tank the fuel, and I bought 100 liters of fuel, and I'm adding to the CO2 environment. Now, look at it totally the realistic way. The same car, you put supposedly electric motor, what you've done, you've taken this out of equation. I'm doing very good. I don't burn fuel. But this is a magic which has become the biggest cheat in the world of car industry. I don't tell you. I have built a power station somewhere, burning more rubbish and more fuel, paying for the losses that you get it here. Most probably, to our calculation, 120 liters of fuel. You don't charge a battery, you just hide the image. Because when you tank the car, okay, a fuel tank worth millions, but now you have the losses, you have everything else which goes, efficiency of maybe 40%, 50%. You see how much more fuel you use. But you can't have energy out of nowhere. This is what I keep on saying with the plasma technology. It's not a free energy, it's additional fuel which you can carry in the car. We don't give you free energy, we have made your system a hybrid. which means you don't need to lie with this situation. All you've done, if any of you have been to Rome, if you've been to Vatican, have you stand in the square? None of you know that the biggest car park in Rome is in the Vatican Square. But it's hidden so beautifully that nobody knows. All the rubbish goes in there. When you stand in Vatican, when you look at the building, in the main square, you have two buildings behind you on the side. Behind this building, on the left-hand side, is the biggest car park in Rome. But nobody knows it's hidden. Anybody can go right to the center of Rome, park your car, take all the exhaust in. Nobody will know that you're part of it. And then they say, don't bring cars to Rome, but we give you the biggest car park next to Vatican. Have you ever wondered how many, so many thousand people come in and then suddenly disappear? They all disappear in this car park with the restaurant on the top. This is a gimmick we don't want to get involved in. So you don't save energy. You don't add or take anything out. You learn how to add an additional fuel as what I call a real alternative supply next to it, that you take less of this or more of that. In the coming weeks, hopefully, we can demonstrate a fully power generated car without the need for battery with a small plasma reactor. I've asked the Innovation Center to complete it, and we have talented people there to have the imagination what to do. They've been trying to do this for 15, 20 years. Now they have found the nanomaterial and the GaNs, and they can do it. Then we all benefit by it. But it's very easy to do. You can literally eliminate this out of the equation. The only thing is you put the center of the energy in a very small plasma reactor that uses energy. But now you convert the energy of the plasma to mechanical motion. If you look at it, the conversion on the plasma when you use an electric car is to convert the energy of the plasma here into rotation here, where plasma is dynamic. You have to create a condition of the same as we spoke about the material, higher strength to a lower strength, but you deliver the lower strength to the matter state in the GaNs of the nanomaterial with a high strength GaNs. The two coming together, it has two choices: convert to energy, which you can convert into rotation, or convert it into matter if you want oranges or something else. It's very easy to convert plasma energy into physical motion. When you see it, you say, God, we should have done it hundreds of years ago. It happens every day. Earth moves, rotates like a wheel. The sun moves the same. The whole galaxy and universe. How come mankind haven't managed to see it? There is no motor, there is no camshaft, there is nothing else. That is, if you want the physical rotation to still be four-wheelers. Conversion of plasmatic energy into rotation is the essence of the creation of matter state in the universe. The Earth, the Sun, the Moon, even an atom in the plasma condition rotates. How come man hasn't unraveled it yet is the biggest mystery. There is no camshaft and there is no motor at the end of it to rotate. You have a higher field of strength order which distributes. You put a matter at the end of it. In the conversion, it creates a rotation. Why can't you do it? I don't know. But don't forget, the rotation is created internally outside, not externally inside. The habit of the man is to push something to go, but You can do the same thing. If you change your reactors slightly, then you do the reverse. You put your sun inside, and then you put your matter outside. You create a flow difference between there and there. It creates a motion. How do you think the Earth moves? How do you think the sun moves? Look it not from outside in or out. Look it from inside out. And this is the whole problem all of you have with this power unit. When I tell you you can do 50, it doesn't do more than 5% reduction. There's something wrong with it. He's a crook again. The crookness is in your head because you haven't understood the process of the creation. He's describing it to her, and she says, yes, you're very, very intelligent. You're right. You're right. You don't need to reverse it. It's not a dog which is chasing his tail. It's the tail which is chasing the dog. If you understand. For a second, stand still. Why always you look to create a rotation by camshaft and the others, where the universe works from internal plasma field, which in a specific condition, when there is a transfer of energy rapid, the slower needs to catch up with the strongest it creates Earth. Don't forget the matter itself was created from the plasma itself. It's so simple. One of you very soon will crack it. And you don't need to levitate. You can have still your four-wheelers, feel happy, safe on the land, but you will run like a rabbit. You don't know what to do with it. And then how do you control the speed of rotation? You control it by change of gravitational magnetic field in the center. Or you create a field outside, like a brake system you have, that it creates a field which dictates at this point how this will receive the field strength. You don't create a brake, you create gravitational magnetic field interaction. American motor industry is finished. Huh? You don't need to go to the lab. You want to go? It's downstairs. You have the key. Go in there and build one. It's an excuse. You're too much on the plane. That's the problem.
Mr. Keshe, just thinking about the trees that are growing in these really hot climates like the desert, palm trees and stuff now, and also very, very tall trees. Are they creating a gravitational magnetic field to create the water, or are they creating a magnetic gravitational field to draw up the water?
They create most of the water from their environment. It's
So
the
they're
same
creating
as the CO2. You have to understand the heat is on the ground level. As you go cooler, higher, cooler, few degrees, you create a climate. If you go to Africa, you see the way the trees grow. Palm trees here are not as tall as in Africa. The hotter it is, the taller they get. It's like a, what do you call it? Day tree. There is a specific. You find the trees which are rooted here, but somehow this pine tree goes like this and it goes another, God knows, 30 meters high, 20 meters high. And the funny thing is, the guy gets on it and pulls himself up to go and get a milk up there. I enjoy doing that. It's one of the most beautiful places. You learn so much from nature in a real position of the field interaction and how things respond. I spent too much time in that, I think. So, any other question? We finished. There are no questions. We go home. What's the time, please? 12 o'clock?
Well, it's getting on for your Italian lunchtime there, Mr. Keshe. So, I mean, we've got lots of questions still as far as questions go.
If you want, we'll leave the session open after lunch, a full day, that we can answer the questions. We don't want to do a closed session this week. If you want, we
Okay.
carry.
So it'll be open to the public this afternoon, you mean?
Have you planned any teaching for this afternoon? So we can carry on with it. Yeah, okay. Marcus has nothing planned, so we carry on
Okay.
with answering the questions because we started from 9 o'clock nearly. No, we go public, carry on answering the questions because it's part of the correcting of the reactors, the blueprint. Rick,
Sure. Okay.
can you please, or Vince, can you please put these videos as part of the blueprint, but put it on the cover of the, what do you call it, fire method?
The Renin videos, that's part of the blueprint. Sure.
Okay, please, thank you very much. And put this teaching link to it, that if people go there, they understand the explanation. And
Okay, sure. Yep.
put this workshop or blueprint day link to it because there's a lot of explanation. People know what to do before. They just see doing it.
Sure, we can put it in part of the blueprint teaching videos as well, the same.
Okay, thanks, Vince. See you at 2 o'clock, which if ever happens, we'll see you at 2:30, and we answer any other questions. It's the Italian lunch. Unfortunately, we'll be here 2:30. No problem. Thank you very much, Vince. Thanks, Rick.
Okay, should we start officially at 2:30 or maybe
No,
2?
2:30. 2:30 we'll be here. That's all.
Okay.
Thanks.
Stay tuned. We will be back in any case. Okay. Thank you very much, Mr. Keshe. And that looks like it's the end of the morning part of today's teaching. That's the 90th Keshe Knowledge Seekers Workshop for the Spaceship Institute. And thank you, everybody, once again for attending. Okay, we'll end the